Welcome to Wildcat Science with Mrs. Haugo. This is Chapter 16 and 17 of Human Biology, Lymphatic and Immune System, and this is Part 2. We are going to be talking about disorders of the lymphatic system. So let's start out with lymphadenitis. There's a picture of it, as you can probably guess from this and the itis from your medical terminology. It is inflammation of the lymph nodes. Often this is a signal that your body is trying to fight infection because the number of lymphocytes increases rapidly, causing the lymph node to swell. These are not swollen glands. Take a minute and think why this is not a swollen gland. It also happens when your body is fighting off mononucleosis, which is mono, HIV, the common cold, and many other infections. A second lymphatic system disorder is lymphedema, which is tissue swelling due to excess fluid because of obstruction of the lymph flow. As we know, the lymph vessels are important for bringing the fluid all the way back to the blood, and if it doesn't bring it back, it stays in the tissues. So what are some causes of lymphedema? Perhaps infection of the lymphatic vessels, so they cannot do their job, a malignant growth in the lymphatic vessels or lymph nodes, or loss of lymphatic vessels due to surgery or injury. What can we do to treat it? You could mechanically drain them, or there is medication one can take. One example of lymphedema is elephantiasis, which is swelling of the lower extremities caused by parasitic worms which block the lymphatic vessel. And here's a picture of this. As you can see, the legs are very enlarged due to tissue, just having lots of fluid in there. And there was a little parasitic worm that came in and is living in the lymphatic vessels and blocking them so that the fluid cannot return to the blood. Okay, another one we're going to talk about is lymphoma. This is a tumor of the lymphoid tissue. It could be benign or malignant. As we know, benign means it is okay and malignant means it is cancerous. This is caused by cancerous lymphocytes. Two of the types of lymphoma we're going to talk about today are non-Hodgkin lymphoma and then Hodgkin lymphoma. About 90% of lymphoma cases are the non-Hodgkin lymphoma, and they spread much more readily than the Hodgkin lymphoma. So what is the difference between the two? Well, the Hodgkin lymphoma is much less common, and the main difference is the specific lymphocyte that is involved and has become cancerous. So there is a lab test where you look under a microscope, and if you see a specific type of abnormal cell called a Reed-Sternberg cell, probably named from the scientists who found it, then it is diagnosed as Hodgkin lymphoma. So that wraps up our lymphatic system notes, and in the next video we're going to be talking about the immune system. I will see you then.